From the New York Times, Vice is said to be headed for bankruptcy. The company, which was once valued at $5.7 billion, has been struggling to find a buyer this year. In fact, they're reporting it's going to go to auction. Look at this. Vice.
I got $50. The offer stands. $50.
Vice would continue operating normally and run an auction to sell the company over a 45-day period, with Fortress Investment Group in pole position as the most likely acquirer. This is amazing. That's it. It's all coming crashing down. It is kind of sad, I got to tell you. When I started at Vice, it was not as bad as it had become. In fact, it was quite good. Shane Smith, the CEO, had gone on Colbert and said, look, we're not Democrats or Republicans. We're storytellers. We're just trying to, figure this thing out. And I'm like, that's amazing. The videos they were producing were just like your bar buddy telling you a story about how he walked to this place. Here's what he saw. There was no pretense. There was no authority. And then as soon as they got money, he said, bring in the pretense, bring in the authority, and bring in the feminists. And it burned the company to the ground. I got to be honest. When Vice was sex, drugs, and rock and roll and edgy, it was skyrocketing.
It was cool.
And the moment they decided to get woke, they went...
Yeah, well, it's like what Elon Musk was saying about the woke mind virus, and it took over Vice, and it destroyed it, took over BuzzFeed.
There's nothing,
and it's basically like that's the reason Postmillennial exists.
There's literally
to combat
nothing,
this kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's nothing cool about woke, right? Like, it's cool to be nice to people, and that's what you want to treat people with respect and stuff. I get it, but there's nothing edgy. There's nothing cool about being woke, and Vice's whole foundation was built on being edgy and cool. They snuck into North Korea. Like, the whole point was supposed to be their ballsy.
Like, their New York parties were always sexy and really fun.
Well, I mean, I never went, but
it was,
it's like, it's supposed to be edgy and cool. And then it's like all woke is just like society's hall monitors. And it sucks because all they ever do is you can't say this, you can't do that, blah, 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 blah. And it's totally antithetical to what Vice started out as.
It was supposed to be the CNN of the street. It was supposed to be anti-establishment. It was edgy. It was taking over. And then as soon as they got any semblance of money, immediately Joe Biden's coming in for an interview back during the Obama administration. We're going to we're so excited for this. They went full, and just as soon as the government came a knocking, as soon as the investors came a knocking, they said, we will do anything you say. And this was inevitable.
Yep.
Now, I'm sure they're going to come out and try and give you all the reasons about, well, it's a changing landscape in media. No, I disagree. There's a reason why Timcast is expanding and Vice is imploding and BuzzFeed is imploding. Yeah. And there's a reason why all of these journalists are just so salty. I offer them jobs every time.
Do you really?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. But,
has anyone taken you up on it?
There actually are people at Vice who are good people, who are just documentary filmmakers who are like, let me know if you ever need a pitch because, we've always want to go and travel and do some stuff.
You should buy Media Matters.
Well, and this is
that's a nonprofit.
Well, the people there who are good the people there at Vice who are good are going to find jobs making things that are good instead of that garbage. And then the people there who suck and are dragging the company down are going to either change or they're not going to find work. So that's the thing. It's creative destruction.
I can't believe it's fun. It really is sad. I mean, I looked at the old Vice building for sale, $34 million.
Oh, wow.
It's a compound in Williamsburg in New York that's got a whole bunch of business in it. But man, I went and looked at it since Vice moved to a new building in the southern part of Williamsburg in New York. And the old building's just falling apart. It's like nothing. It's like graffiti all over it.
Sad.
I think a large portion of it was actually torn down. Yeah, and it is. I'm like, man, I'm looking at the picture and I'm like, I used to stand out in front of there, just talking smack with other employees, all these stories, talking news, talking politics, finance. And now it's all just falling apart. Yeah. And it's crazy because I'm just thinking back to 2012, 2013, when I'm like 2012, I'm talking to these guys, 2013, I'm getting hired over there. And they would not listen. But you know what? Part of me wonders if Shane Smith cares. I think he does because brand was always so important to him. It was always the most important thing to build up the brand. And I think he wanted Vice to become Disney, to become CNN, to be this legacy brand. And because of his inability to see what was happening around him and his embracing of this crackpot cult garbage, he burned his own name to the ground. And now what does he have to show for it? Well, look, he may still be worth a lot of money, but most of his wealth was tied up in Vice. So when people said that he was a billionaire, it was only because of Vice's value at $5.7 billion. He cashed out, I think, like $30 or $40 million, maybe. And now that Vice is worthless and entering bankruptcy and going to be sold, I don't know how much I'll even get out of this.